the things that have really made me me are all the things that I've chosen. I chose to become a mom. I chose to become a therapist. I chose to be an artist.
Yeah.
I chose to be a writer. All of these choices,
Mhm.
and focusing in so hard on the things that are genuinely so real and powerful and things that I'm good at. That focus, yeah, you're right. It is reflected in my art. And I want the reality of what I see in people to jump off the page. And when I sent these pictures to them, um, they went nuts. They said, I don't like the photos that were taken. I mean, they're okay, but I just haven't really liked them. But these pictures that you drew feel like more me than I've ever been.
We can do that.
We have so few barriers when we don't allow ourselves to have those barriers. We can shift easily. It's funny. The night I finally came out to myself was when my style flipped, and it went from something, kind of amateurish, I thought, to this highly realistic style.
When I was 5, I lived with my mother and father and older brother.
At least I could draw, I told myself.
It was just me, my cats, and my imagination.
Created protective cover, just enough where he could keep his underwear on.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Another Words podcast. I'm Pam, and these are my co-hosts, Karen, Jan, and Val. And we're super excited to have a friend of Val's with us tonight, Manya Perkins. Manya is a lesbian artist, a writer, and a licensed mental health counselor based in Western Washington. Her work, whether on the page, the canvas, or in the therapy room, is deeply rooted in advocacy, authenticity, and care for marginalized voices. As an artist, Manya's primary mediums are ink and charcoal, often centering on lived experiences of the queer and trans community. Her writing spans a wide range of genres with a particular love for crafting steamy, emotionally resonant romances between lesbians and non-binary characters. In her counseling practice, Manya brings over a decade of experience working with diverse populations, including military and law enforcement personnel, while maintaining a strong clinical focus on the queer and trans community. Her specialties include stress, anxiety, mood disorders, harm reduction, suicide prevention, and trauma-informed care. She created a queer and trans community support group that runs in Bremerton on Thursday nights, allowing for space for the LGBTQIA2S+ community to support each other and find help with the challenges that come with living in this tumultuous time and country. She's also a proud single mother of 2, balancing the demands of art, healing work, and parenting with grace, grit, and humor. Manya, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
This is a real pleasure. I've never done a podcast before. You all are my firsts.
Awesome.
You kind of twilight between writing and your drawings. And I was really, really taken aback by your drawing of Andrea Gibson. That just blew my mind. The detail and how it just comes alive off the page, what you do, your portraitures. So tell us a little bit about how you got into that, how you knew that's something that you wanted to do, and what's your process with doing portraits?
I've been drawing since I was 1 year old, and every year I find out new things. I learn something new with each drawing. I figure out more about how to do things. I look at demonstrations online and learn from other artists. My biggest inspiration is when I see friends in the queer and trans community. I want them to know you're beautiful, you're worthwhile. I see you, I hear you, I notice you, and I want the world to know that too. What you're looking at right now is a page of 3 faces and 4 dogs. The person on the very far left here, Kath, this was a Christmas present from one of my friends to her girlfriend. And Kath can't see her own face. She has a space in her brain that should perceive her own face, and she can't see it.
I've actually heard of that. That's interesting. Yeah.
This was taken from a photo when she got home from Kuwait and she finally had some leave time. She put on her own clothes. She walked down the street in her own neighborhood, bought herself a cup of coffee. No one told her what to do or how to do it, and she experienced freedom for the first time in over a year. She wasn't with her unit. She was able to just breathe. And she took a selfie, hoping that maybe someday something would stick and she'd be able to see what she looked like. When I did this portrait and Jess gave it to Kath for Christmas last year, Kath burst into tears because she could finally see her own face.
Wow.
Something about the drawing, the charcoal, the way it's on the page, not only does it look like her, but she was able to recognize herself. She went, "It's me," and she burst into tears. And that's what I want when people see the drawings. I want them to understand that is them. That's how I choose to see them, in all of that beauty and worth. And I actually, I can't stand supermodel faces. I mean, God, they're beautiful, aren't they? But I want imperfect faces. I want.
Yeah, I'm like you. I too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want age, and I want fat and muscle. I want scars. I want disability. I want imperfection, just as hard as possible, because I think it is so beautiful and so human.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I want to record, is that in everything that you are worth it.
Nice. Really nice.
That's great. I know we have quite a few of your drawings to go through, so I'm going to flip through them here a little bit so we can. I was like, we have a lot, but I don't want to leave any of them out because they are all amazing in their own right.
They're all amazing.
Yeah.
They really are.
The two on the right here are Tennyson Black. They are one of my favorite authors and a good friend. They wrote Survival Strategies. They are an award-winning poet. So if you want a book on surviving as a trans and non-binary person, Survival Strategies is a delight.
Okay.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know.
My kids keep asking for birds because birds are dinosaurs. So I keep doing birds.
Love it.
And then the person on the right here with the rainbow glasses, she finally figured out, oh God, I'm queer. And she's in her 50s. And so when I did her portrait, I did it in black and white in the watercolor and ink. But her eyes are rainbow and her glasses are rainbow, and she's surrounded by the rainbow because she is coming into that. And she just adored it when she got that portrait.
I bet. Nice.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And
It's
the owl up in the upper left.
Love that.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Your ability to hit the realism, especially in the faces, is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. The night I finally came out to myself was when my style flipped, and it went from something, kind of amateurish, I thought, to this realistic, this highly realistic style. I was sitting there drawing a portrait of a friend, and I realized I'm not just queer. I am absolutely 100% lesbian. I don't like capitalism. I do like, socialized medicine. I can't stand organized religion. I think it's harmful and weird. I think patriarchy just sucks so hard. And I sat there with all of this hitting me, realizing, oh yeah, it's never going to be a man for me ever again. And the next portrait I did, same person, just looked hyper realistic. And I think I've included it in here somewhere.
Oh, good.
I'll show you. But I stunned myself, and I actually had to email it to my mother and be like, Mom, look what I just did. And she said, wow.
That's
and
amazing.
I asked her, hey, not for nothing, but you know how I have miserable taste in men and my relationships all suck? And she's like, yes. And I thought she said yes really fast after that.
A little too fast.
Mom. Yeah. And I said, how would you feel? What would you think if I brought home a partner who was not male, who was not a cisgender heterosexual man? And she just took a beat and she said, I don't care what gender you date. I want your partner to love and respect you. I want you to love and respect them. And I want you to take care of my grandkids.
Yeah.
I had the gentlest, softest coming out that anyone has ever had. My
That's
dad said the
amazing.
exact same thing.
It's nice.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Oh,
Here we've got, on the left, we've got Erin, whose hair was just irresistible. I had to paint that. In the center, again, is Tennyson Black. Their journey has been extraordinary and so worth paying attention to. And then on the right, we have another watercolor. I just thought it was a beautiful picture, and I wanted to showcase, hey, these are my friends, and they love each other.
It is. It's an amazing picture.
Oh, I wanted to ask, maybe you said, Manya, but I wanted to know, how old were you when you had that epiphany about yourself?
It's been a series of epiphanies. 13,
I'm
I
sure.
knew something was up. 17, I figured I was bisexual.
Okay.
At 30,
It's
I married a
gradually.
man, went hard into the closet, and came out again in 2020. And I thought, okay, I'm queer or something.
Yeah.
I just know that I'm not straight, and I just know that I'm not bi. And
Mhm.
then it was actually 2023. I had already been dating women for a while, but it hit me just so hard. I am a lesbian. And everything snapped, everything fell into place, and I felt like myself more than I've ever felt before. And since coming out, life has just been so much better.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
to truly be me is worth everything.
Yeah.
So we've got some skulls. I love jackalopes. And then on the right was a birthday present for my best friend, Patrick, whose drag name is Satanya D. Nix.
Nice.
And I did this performance where I was in my underwear, pulling paintbrushes out of unlikely places on my body and spraying myself down in paint, inviting audience members to come up and paint hearts and happy birthday
Wow.
on a canvas. And
You're
then
brave.
my drag name that night was Horja O'Queef.
That's fantastic.
But at the end, under a shower of confetti, because of course it's for my best friend, and why not, I whipped away the cover on the real gift, which was this painting on the right here. Several of Patrick's beautiful, incredible drag costumes.
Mhm.
So if you're ever in Bremerton or anywhere in Kitsap County, come see a drag show, come see Satanya D. Nix. They are a consummate performer, and we have worked on a lot of community engagement projects and a lot of philanthropy together.
Very
nice. Really nice.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Wow.
Oh, yes. Some of my favorites here. So on the left, Blue Girl. That's a watercolor with some ink there. The person second in from the left, that's Atticus. And Atticus was the one I was drawing the night of my big revelation, and they have remained one of my subjects that I will occasionally just do a bunch of drawings for. And they take really good photographs. To take a good photograph for translating it into a drawing, I need no makeup, no filters, and some pretty harsh lighting. Because what I'm doing is the page is my filter. The page is blank. I'm just adding in enough imperfections to make it look like the person I'm drawing, and it's important to note, you don't have to send me the prettiest picture. I'm going to make that picture you as possible. This person here in the hiking boots, Gilly, they were in the National Guard somewhere in the Midwest. They're a young trans man, and they went on this journey like every trans person I've ever known has gone on these incredible journeys, interior and exterior. And I wanted to highlight Gilly's leg hair and facial hair because he was very proud that was starting to come in after months of being on T. And he had just been on this long run and quick snapped a photograph. And I thought, oh, that's a good one.
And the card on the right?
Oh yes, the card. So I'm also one of the lead moderators for the Pacific Northwest Lesbian Facebook page. We have over 11,000 members. And sometimes they'll do like little competitions, little games on the page, mask versus femme. And they said, instead of doing a photograph, would you work up a quick painting for us? And I said, oh, absolutely. And I chose a couple. They're married now. But Katie Green is the mask one who's facing upward on this card. And her wife, Sarah, is the femme who's facing downward. And you can rotate the card.
Oh, nice.
That's very cool.
It really is.
Love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Very cool.
Oh, no.
So here we've got, I love fish. I'm a Pisces. I love the ocean. I love water. I love fish. Everything in my life seems to be about water. So I have done drawing after drawing, painting after painting of fish and all kinds of ocean creatures. So you can see those. There's Tucker, my friend Chris's dog. And I've done, I think, probably 3 or 4 portraits of Tucker, who's just the sweetest little pup. And then this person smoking a fat blunt here is my ex-girlfriend. I just absolutely adore her so much.
Nice. Really nice.
Yeah, these are great.
These are, if you notice, Karen's our graphic designer, and she's doing my book cover for Wild Dandelion. And so I know, Karen, you're all up in this, right?
Yeah. Is this stretch board?
No, this is black paper and white ink. So I just use a white gel roller, and it's the simplest thing. And these are actually very small drawings. They're 5x7 pieces of paper.
But it's like drawing backwards.
Yeah. I pick out the brightest spots. I start with that, and then I layer in each piece after that.
I love it, all of it. The octopus, fantastic. I'm a Pisces too, so yeah. Love it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I really like your ex's picture. I like the.
Yeah, I like it.
It's like you can see a story just right there in that picture. It's like I could take that image and just go off on a tangent writing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. So very, very realistic, very, very sophisticated and real. So yeah, that's wonderful.
Oh my, and we have a lot of my ex on this page. Just a delight to draw. But here, bottom left and bottom right, that's Atticus. And this bottom right one, that is the one that I was drawing. That's that night that I had my epiphany, and it hit me so hard. And my style radically altered from something that was looser, more two-dimensional to being this, sharp realism. And on the top right, we have Jordan Kemmerer, who is down in Oregon, and they are this incredible bodybuilder, and they have worked security and done quite a lot of very cool, slightly dangerous, sometimes more than dangerous things. But they're always on the side of the angels. And she is so incredibly beautiful. I saw this picture of her and I thought, oh yeah, no, I need to draw her. And thank God she was okay with it. And someday I'll get down to Portland and hand this over to her so she can put that up in her house.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Well, you've got it all, because I love that one in the lower
We back it up.
too, which has the wash to it. It's just, oh my gosh.
That is a large acrylic painting. I think that's a 24 by 36. Wow. And I did that in about 5 minutes. I just threw a projection up on the wall, taped up the canvas, and I just went, I'm just going for this. I just needed to do something loose and quick. I just needed to free up my mind and my arms so that I could get back into the detail work.
Fantastic.
That's incredible.
Oh, yes. Okay, so bottom left, Gilly again. Going
Uh-huh.
counterclockwise here, we've got Jessie, who's another one of the mods in the Pacific Northwest Lesbian Facebook page. That's bottom in the middle. The green, more figurative, descriptive, less realistic one here on the bottom right, that is Velvet Stalking, Stalking, one of our very cool drag performers here in Kitsap County. Top right, Brooke Anderson, another person who I saw their picture online and thought, that's awesome. I want to do this person's face. Dr. Kylie, oh God, I have her book, and she's written a book called Being That Kind of Person, KYND. Again, great smile, great face, very cool butch lesbian who I immediately got a TikTok crush on. She's married to this incredibly beautiful feminine woman who she worships and adores. And I did a TikTok for her, and I said, hey, Kylie, thanks for the book. And I held up the drawing. She did a duet, and she got all excited, and she's clapping. Second in from the left here, we have someone in Philadelphia, name unknown, but I do love their TikToks. Again, non-binary lesbian, just absolutely mouth-wateringly gorgeous. And then up here on the top left is one of my favorite people in the whole world, Benny Alexander. Again, drag performer here in Kitsap. They're non-binary, they're lesbian, they're trans. They took this photo of themselves, and it was so brave to do for them. They don't appear generally without drag makeup on in some way, as their experience of themselves isn't always a comfortable one. But in this photo that they took of themselves, they used bad lighting, no makeup, no filters, took a photo, and it was so brave that I memorialized it, and I consider it to be one of my top 3 masterworks.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's funny because when people see this portrait, you know, the types who are all like, oh, I don't do pronouns. You know, those types?
Yes.
Yeah.
We do.
Even those types look at that face and they use they, them pronouns automatically.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's as if they cannot help but recognize this person is non-binary. This person is they, them. Mm-hmm. There is no he or she to it unless that person chooses. And there are times, that my friends they'll switch, they'll flip, they'll flow into different gender expressions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But in this portrait, it's important to note that it evokes that non-binary self so strongly.
It does.
Oh, yep, more birds. The heron up top is my favorite. The chicken, bottom left, the chicken's name was Killer.
Oh.
And Killer was one of those lesbian auntie animals that you get sometimes in a barnyard that doesn't have kids of their own and is instead the adopted mom of every animal in the farm. And Killer was with my friends for more than 12 years. And she finally died a month or 2 ago. And so of course I'm doing a portrait. Of course I'm dropping it off at the People's Exchange. My friend Kit Glure and their partner, they run this shop in downtown Bremerton called People's Exchange. And they have free food, free clothing, free books. They have a little, market set up. Every Thursday you can come in and bring food to donate and take away any food that's there. You just get to have that. And they're just delighted to serve the community that way.
That's lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've got the Triceratops. We've got the Triceratops for my kids. A 64 Buick Riviera for one of my friends who has not picked up their painting yet, but that's okay. And then this is me looking very serious and intense over an acrylic of the Cretan Palace of Knossos, which someday I will go and see.
All right.
Beautiful.
Yeah, really, really great.
Oh, okay. So here we go. In the center on the bottom, there's Andrea Gibson.
Yes.
Again,
Oh, I know.
that,
Yeah.
that is one of my top 3 masterworks that I've done. Andrea Gibson was a deeply philosophical, beautiful, enlightened poet. If you read their book, You Better Be Lightning, your life will change. You'll change. You'll be a better person. And it's just one of those transcendent books that takes your soul different places. And they recently passed away and were survived by their wife. And on their deathbed, they were surrounded by friends and family, pets, 4 ex-girlfriends, and her wife. If you gotta go, that's how you gotta go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't heard back from Meg, Andrea's wife. She's got a lot to deal with right now, but I'm hoping that somehow the portrait reaches her. If I can send it to her, I would love to do that to say thank you for the life of Andrea. Because she meant a lot to me, and I never met her. It's sad because I like to reach out to writers. Val knows I love writers so much. And I want to hear from them and talk with them and compare notes on life.
Yeah.
But Andrea was deep in her struggle with cancer by the time I found her and sent her a note. So I didn't hear back.
Andrea's she definitely the type of work that they have done has just blown me away. I can't even. It's like something of another world, another dimension, another portal. It is so transcendent and so philosophical and so ethereal and organic and real, and it's just everything that I feel about feelings in life, and it's so wonderful to find somebody that feels that same way about things, and
it's so eloquent,
so eloquent. Yes.
Yeah, when I heard their reading, you sent it to me, Val, I thought, oh, this woman lives already in that other world.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
she's there already.
And definitely in a liminal space for a while before their passing.
Yeah, definitely.
It's incredible.
After I got dumped last year, bad breakup, I was in a real dark place, and I read Andrea Gibson's line, "Your heart breaks, so your spirit doesn't." And that was what carried me through. So what you're seeing on the left here, this little quad, that's all the same person, but done 3 different styles, 3 different mediums. We've got drafting pen, we've got marker, and we've got charcoal. And I like drawing people's faces multiple times in multiple ways. And you can see up top in the middle here, that's Ashley Laws, who is another artist here in Washington. I'm finally going to go see her on Saturday and do an art exchange. Sometimes I'll find other artists who I'll do a portrait of them, and they say, "Oh, let me create something for you. Can we trade?" And I love doing that. Just love it.
Yeah, a lot of artists do that and have whole collections because they trade work.
Yep. It's a delight because I get to put that all up in my house and know that I am living in a gallery, a studio, a museum, a time capsule.
Yeah, absolutely.
And on the right, we have this. I did something different. I did a half face. I don't usually do halvesies, but it's all alcohol markers.
Oh.
And I got really disappointed because it soaked through the back of the paper, and I thought, oh, darn it! The paper was supposed to be bleed proof. When I flipped it over, I got this image on the right, and I thought, oh no, that's really cool. I am taking pictures of this and putting them together, and I just thought, this is incredible.
It is. It is.
Person and statue to me.
Yeah, that's what it resembles for sure.
I learned something new with every single portrait, with every piece. I learned more about myself, about people, about the world, medium, everything.
Great.
We've got some quick scribble sketches here, the 2 top left. We've got the one in red on the top right. That person is asked to remain nameless, but they sent me this picture that was just so delicate and so beautiful and powerful. Obviously, it was going to become a portrait. Bottom right, we've got two friends, Brandy and Christy. They've been dating for a while, and this was an anniversary present. Bottom left, we've got somebody on Instagram who I've corresponded with a few times. I just think they're incredible. They're just powerfully unique and beautiful. All these imperfect faces, and God, aren't they lovely?
Yes.
Aren't they just the most incredible people?
Yeah.
Second in from the bottom on the left, Linda Irish. Again, two different ways of doing the same person. We've got one in marker and one in drafting pen. And then my favorite out of all of these two on top of each other. Second in from the right, we have Avon Star. I think they're up in Canada. And when I sent these pictures to them, they went nuts. They said, I don't like the photos that were taken. I mean, they're okay, but I just haven't really liked them. But these pictures that you drew feel like more me than I've ever been.
Well, you can't get a better compliment than that.
No.
Yeah. Sometimes when people get their portraits, they feel weird. Sometimes they're like, it's strange to see my face. I'm like, okay, fair, but most of the time I get that joy that people feel seen, and Avon felt seen with these. And what was funny was I had just done a portrait of Virginia Woolf, which I think is coming up shortly here, and Avon adores Virginia Woolf, and of course, she's a queer icon and incredible postmodern writer, just who I think formed the 20th century with her work.
There she is.
There she is. Yeah, bottom right, there's Virginia Woolf. And then here we have a selection of folks, and there's Axel Dog, top left, with his beautiful little ear and his happy face. Axel is the companion of my friend Jen Norman, and Axel takes care of her. And Jen, she deals with a lot and is just one of the sweetest people in the whole world. Bottom left, again, my ex-girlfriend, lots and lots of portraits of her. Second in from the left on the bottom, Bo Corvin Black, somebody who is somewhere in Washington, and I will meet them at some point and hand over their picture and just be like, here you go, and walk out and think, okay, have a wonderful time with that. Or maybe at some point, maybe I'll get to go out and take them out for sushi and sake or something. Top right, Camille, somebody down in Utah, married, kids. I thought she was incredibly attractive. I hoped that she was single. And then 15 minutes later, she's like, oh, and my wife. And I'm like, dang it.
No go. Too bad.
We have, in the colors of the lesbian flag, we've got Stormé de Larvier, who was one of the great instigators at the Stonewall riot in '69. She was in the back of a paddy wagon, and no one was keeping an eye on her, and she jumped out, and she says, is anybody going to do something? And she's with the police. And she's credited with starting things along with Marsha P. Johnson. So she's quite the icon. And then just underneath her with the spiky hair and sitting upside down with the green swirls around, that's Becca Steimel, who is another non-binary poet who I just absolutely adore. And I've got several anthologies, and I literally look up poetry magazines for single authors and buy them and have my own queer, trans, and non-binary poetry section in my library, because it's a different way of looking at the world. And I looked at their face and I couldn't not draw them,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh, and here we go. On the left, Fawn. She's another person in the Pacific Northwest Lesbian Facebook page. Her partner had commissioned this drawing for her, and she apparently she had always wanted a piece of mine, and she was in tears when she got it.
Oh, how nice.
The middle section is more pictures of my incredible, beautiful ex-girlfriend. And on the right, we have somebody, I don't know, their name is Katie, and they tend not to enjoy pictures of their face so much. But when they got this one, they put it up and had it on their Facebook for months and months because they liked it so much.
That's great.
Mm-hmm. It tells me I'm doing something right when people want to show off.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
They're all amazing. I don't know. To go through and say I have a favorite over some of the others, I can't. They're all amazing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're incredibly talented.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, did you have any formal training in terms of your artwork, or is this just self-trained?
I did go to college, and I started with trying to get my bachelor's in fine arts, and then I realized they couldn't teach me anything I didn't already know.
Yeah, I think I just had that feeling. You're a self-trained artist because you have something that is just a little bit different from what you normally see, and I can't put my finger on exactly what it is. Also, your process has gone in the opposite direction, because usually people start out doing almost hyper realistic and then need to loosen up. But you have gone from being more loose to almost exquisitely focused.
Mm-hmm.
And as if I'm really going to draw exactly what's in there. It's almost like you see into the soul of the person with your drawing.
That's what it feels like. It felt like my life was loose and unfocused, and coming out. The things that have really made me are all the things that I've chosen. I chose to become a mom. I chose to become a therapist. I chose to be an artist.
Yeah.
I chose to be a writer. All of these choices,
Mm-hmm.
and focusing in so hard on the things that are genuinely so real and powerful, and things that I'm good at. That focus, you're right. It is reflected in my art, and I want the reality of what I see in people to jump off the page.
Yeah, well, it does. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
as if you've seen what's inside a person, and then you are able to put it on the surface.
It's like you're taking the essence of the person from the inside and really regurgitating it out. Like you can really, really see it, and it's like a moment in time. You're capturing snapshots and almost in a sense, and of people, and they'll never look that way again or be in that moment again. It really, really is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun how you're taking photographs of them, though, that they may not necessarily like, and creating something that really speaks to them, to their soul even. That's amazing. That is more of an incredible talent than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people will approach me and they'll say, "Oh, can you do a portrait of me, or do a portrait for this person for me?" And I'll say, "Yes, go ahead and send me some photos." And they always send me stuff it's blurred out. People like that softness so that they don't look quite so imperfect.
Yeah.
I can't stand that. Give me the most imperfect photo of you that you have. I want to see it, because I'm going to make something out of it. And I promise you're going to see yourself, and I hope you'll like it. Most of the time people do.
That's so cool. And the cool part, not only are you an incredible artist, you're also an author. So we definitely want to make sure that we talk about, I'm going to go ahead and drop this down. We want to talk about some of your writing as well.
Yes, the first couple of conversations I had with Val, we got into it about writing, and I said, "Oh yeah, I've written a few things," and I said it without thinking. And Val says, "Oh, well, I'd love to see it sometime if you're willing to share." I'm like, It's smut.
Really good smut. It's really good smut, though. Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
is. It was inspired by one of the people whose portraits you've seen now. And I sent Val a story called Burn. And that was inspired by some of the conversations I had with one of my poets.
Nice. So can you tell us about, are you working on anything currently? Do you have a project now?
Yeah, I'm working on two. Another sex fantasy that's sort of bordering on more about the psychology of codependence and dysfunctional relationships and healing from that. It's called Mousetrap. And it's about a college student in Amsterdam who runs into this absolute sadist, non-binary lesbian who has no idea quite what to do with this mousy little thing. And they both find out a little bit about themselves. And it's unformed, it's unfinished. And I'm sort of working my way around. The characters are talking to me, but they're not quite there yet. Usually once the character has their voice, they write themselves. I'm still looking for those voices. And I'm working on another one called Cave Woman. It's cave/woman from the point of view of the last cave woman who ever lived. You know, she was born 12,000 years ago.
Yeah.
She survived through 12,000 years of human history, and she's looking at us now, considering who we are.
Oh, I love that.
I thought I did. Well, I'm sorry, Manya, do you have like them right in some of your pieces that you could like read?
Let's see. I think I've got one. Oh, yeah. I know the one I want to read. Okay. So this is called Looking For. Every time I start talking with somebody online, people do hit me up a bit. I can't tell if it's the red hair or the huge tits, but I'm popular.
It's probably both. Just guessing.
Okay. All right.
That's funny.
Where is this damn poem that I wrote? Here it is. Okay. So I finally put it into a short form, short relatively, so to speak. So, looking for. What do I look for in a woman? Leg hair. Armpit hair. Crinkles by her eyes, or better yet, crow's feet that go all the way back to her hairline. Stretch marks and scars, a body that's been lived in. Laughter, never like bells. No, I want her laugh to crack across my ears like a whip. Great, ha ha! Falling boulders that hurt my tympanic membrane and make me want to join in. I want the laugh that knows how much pain is behind it. And I want her to laugh anyway. I look for the woman who wears a suit, work clothes, flannels, boots, teenage boy clothes and workman's clothes, and the kind of thing rarely seen outside of a corporate boardroom. Leather straps and hands full of mouth-watering toys. She'd never be caught dead in a skirt, but I know the velvet tongue she hides and soft as lace touches of her hands. And I know her slick satin is waiting for me, if she lets me. And sometimes she lets me, in my dreams. I'm looking for the rescuer of animals and plants and children and adults who would never make it without that woman bringing them back to life. I want the artist who pours music and words, photos and paintings and sculptures out into this world without anyone ever looking for them or seeing them. I want to see them. I am looking for them. I want the woman who says, I'm not your version of woman. I'm something else, so don't put me in that box. I want the woman who's broken free of every shackle. Can you teach me to do that? I have chains I want breaking. I want the cracked voice and heart with all those little breaks inside. We all know that's where the light shines through. Teach me to shine my light through all out those deep cracks of mine because I'm lost in the dark right now. I want the night sky one I never had, the fiery one I lost, the tempests that blew through my life and left their mark, and I'd like to hold hands with my mother more than once a year. Don't give me picture-perfect, barely legal teenagers with barely written first chapters. I want all the stories she can tell me, all the years and decades she's got under her belt. Under her belt. That's where I'd like to be too. Don't give me supermodels. Yes, those are a type of woman, but not my type, not the kind I want to spend wrapped around all night. I want the cracked smiles and oak tree bodies of women who aren't afraid of their own muscle or fat. Give me a crow of a woman, a raven of a woman, with a hoarse laugh and mischief in her eyes. Ravens saved the world, after all. Maybe she and I can save the world for each other. Give me that woman. Or at least give her my number.
That's fantastic.
That is
Fantastic.
So good.
You know,
100%.
I wanted to just, as you're reading that, I had an experience last year where I fell on my face right out in front of my house, right in the pavement. And so this whole side of my face had to have 17 stitches.
Oh my God.
It was the whole thing. But I had an interesting experience after that because I had to walk out into the waiting room and I was waiting for my husband. When I describe my husband, I always say that man who thinks he's married to me. So he's nowhere to be found. So I'm walking around with all the, stitches and my face was completely swollen. And getting that horrified look on everyone else's face, like, oh my God, and they're not going to look at me. The averted gaze. And that's so interesting because I'd never had that experience.
Mm.
And I thought, yeah. And so it was some kind of epiphany for me, and I'm still thinking about what it meant. But anyway, what your poem made me think of that experience.
To be seen versus to be unseen, to have people avert their eyes because they don't want to look. There's a term coming up now, butch phobia, and it's that the fearful way butch women are approached or deliberately not approached by our society. There are a lot of queer-coded villains in media, and butch women are portrayed in just the worst possible light. They're weird, they're gross, or they're villains in some way. Couldn't be farther from the truth. You put me in a room full of butches and I will find you teachers, engineers, coaches,
absolutely. Yes.
Artists, musicians, rescuers. They rescue everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, I've seen some of these women see a plant dying by the side of the road, and they go, "Oh no, poor baby!" and they pick it up and
take it home.
Oh, they've nursed it back to health, and it's taken over half their living room, and they're just so proud of their little leafy thing. Yeah, they're worth it. Anyone listening to this podcast, if you've never loved or been loved by a butch woman, go out there and show some respect, first of all, and some love, and go get these amazing people in your life. They make the best friends, the best lovers, the best people.
I love your honesty in that poem. It's like, I grew up always loving, things that were imperfect. I thought that's where it was at, like that is where the depth is at. That is where the truth is at. That's my essence. That's what speaks to me and calls me, is that imperfection. And a lot of people have this distorted reality of, what perfectionism is, and they can never get to it. I'm like, perfectionism is just a concept. It's not real, you guys. It's not real, and so I love all of the dichotomy that you have in your poems and stuff, because I think that really is where the truth that's the meat of everything in this world, and that's where I like to live. And so I thank you for bringing that out. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Really. I think that's the most interesting way to live.
I think what really gets me is contrast.
Yeah.
You saw that I work mostly in black and white. I love
Yeah.
contrast,
Me too.
and I love it in people.
Mhm.
I love that the rough exterior and the marshmallow heart underneath.
Mhm.
I love the contrast of knowing this is someone who was raised as a woman, forced practically at knife point to be conciliatory and sweet.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They've rejected that in
Yeah.
favor of I will be sweet on my terms to the people who have earned it, who were meaningful, and to see that masculinity in women, and to watch queer, trans, non-binary folks take masculinity and femininity and approach it in such different ways. Not
Mhm.
it was pointed out in Butch is not a dirty word and Dagger on Butch women, that when they do that, when they approach masculinity, when these women approach it, or when these trans or non-binary folks approach masculinity, they're not doing it to copy masculinity. They are doing it to perfect it, to make it what it should be,
150% correct. Yep.
Yeah, and we find that in the men and trans and non-binary folks who approach femininity in their own way and say, "I'm going to make this softer for me. I'm going to make it, as beautiful as I can. I'm going to make it stronger for me because this is what I choose." So my art is about my choices. My writing is about my choices, and I'm hoping that people see their freedom and their truth and their choices reflected in everything that I give to them.
Yep. Well, it's definitely a beautiful world that you're opening up to people. It's one of the greatest compliments that I ever received, Jan, was from Winona in our writers group. A Black woman, probably in her 70s, lived, in DC most of her life. And she told me, she goes, I never knew anything about, the trans world or, the gay world until you opened my eyes. And I that was like one of the best compliments that I've ever received from somebody, that you're moving people that, you know, that don't identify with that at all. Because really it's just about, we're all human. There's, individual experiences and the collective experiences, but I love that yours definitely is about the individual experience. And I think that's really, really interesting. I think that's where most of the truth's at, when we can collectively have a melting pot of what resonates with us. And I love that the individualism that you have in your journey and how you see things. It's wonderful, and it's very, very empowering. And I don't know if we told you, Jan's a therapist as well. Jan, how long would you been? 40 years, 50?
Yeah, close. A long time. Yeah, and I see a lot of young women who are, married and have such difficulty. And these are women who have professions and kids and the whole 9 yards, but have trouble standing up to their husbands. Oh, I could never say that to him. And I said, just tell him to shut up. And then, they're so shocked. Yeah, it's fine. They can tolerate it. You have to learn to, use your strength and your power in your personality. And if you're married to the guy, you've got to be able to tell him to shut up.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't like it, and yeah. So anyway, it's an interesting, and again, seeing all the generations. And of course I'm the older generation, and we were raised to be nice, to be compliant, to listen to our husbands. And I got an F in it.
Good for you.
Trailblazer, Jan, that's right.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
They're grown men. They can do their own dishes and their own damn laundry. For a woman to really look at herself and say, I have so much more power than this.
Absolutely.
Don't hold me back.
Yeah.
That's the most important step we can take.
Yeah.
Is really just recognizing our own power.
Right.
Well, it's taken the patriarchal system and going, F you, and flipping it,
Mm-hmm.
because all that was just, a total agenda of having power over women and making women feel like they couldn't survive without a man, and making women feel like, subservient and less than, power and control.
Mhm.
And I love that you've also said, that butches and trans men, we don't want to copy cisgendered men. We want to perfect it.
Yeah.
And we want to add a twist to it that's different.
Right.
And that's
Or
really the truth. Yeah.
Maybe not even a twist as in so much as a correction.
Right.
The patriarchal masculinity has gotten so twisted. And it's Farida, the author, presents it in this way. She says that patriarchy infantilizes men by telling them that they can't do housework, that they can't care for themselves, that they have to be leeches on the women of their lives. And it's so important to recognize the fact that matriarchy, matrilineal societies, they're not depriving people of power. They're saying, hey, we all share, we all work together, we all look to our generation and the ones coming next.
Well, definitely with Native Americans, that's how they, were in their societies, the women, that was, they were revered, and I really feel that Native Americans definitely were on the right path as far as a lot of things go, with two-spirited and just how they did things and just everything, So yeah, I totally understand what you mean, 100%.
If you look up the work of this ethnobotanist, who's a friend of mine, Julia Cordero Lamb, she's Chumash. She is this extraordinary. I think she's a goddess on earth. She knows plants like nobody else does, and her sense of land, community, spirit, people, everything internal, external. Go ahead and just look her up, listen to her interviews.
How do you spell her last name?
Julia Cordero Lamb, Cordero, and the second part Lamb.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's one of the best conversationalists I've ever encountered. We're constantly going back and forth, throwing information at each other about everything under the sun and comparing mythology and songs and folklore and medicine and philosophy and psychology and also, I can't get my engine running on my car. What do I do now? We'll go from the most transcendental right on down to the most prosaic things.
I think women can do that. That's my experience. We can do that.
We have so few barriers when we don't allow ourselves to have those barriers. We can shift easily.
Tell us, okay, so what are you planning on in the future? Are you going to continue doing your portraits? Are you going to try to write a novel? Are you going to do a book of poems? Where do you see yourself a year from now and working towards, and what do you think you'll be doing? And where can people reach out to you to find your work if they're, your portraitures and stuff?
Find me on Instagram, Manya Perkins. It's my name. And that's where most of my portraits go. I always ask permission before posting online because I don't want to post people without their permission. And everybody we saw today has given their permission to be seen online. But find me on Manya Perkins on Instagram. Plans for writing. I would like to wrap everything up into a small book and publish Burn and Other Yearnings.
Nice. Good.
And it'll be dedicated to the real life Burn, one of those amazing non-binary poets who I love. And as far as art goes, I have got a giant folder of photo references. I want to keep doing as many faces as possible. I feel like we're facing a time of book burning, and
we are.
We're already in it.
We are. So
And along with it goes all the erasure of queer and trans folks from our media, and the next that's coming are BIPOC folks, and of course women. The only people who will be allowed left to be regarded in this society are cishet white dudes, and I really can't stand that. I want to memorialize as many of these beautiful, wonderful, worthwhile faces as I know, so that somehow there's a record of us whenever this whenever this regime ends, I want something to be left of me and my art and my people. And I will continue to run the queer and trans support group, although it is taking off beautifully, and more people are volunteering to run clothing drives, do games nights, bring in snacks, do presentations. One thing that I will never let go of is doing the queer and trans sex ed education night that we've run a few times. That's been delightful. It starts with a workshop on consent, which heteronormative sex ed does not.
No.
Just
Oh,
Absolutely should, but it does not.
yeah.
you're right.
We've also done a free legal aid night at the queer and trans support group, and that was enormously successful. Very, very helpful for the community to help people feel empowered. So the plans are to keep going. And
Well, you're doing important work.
You are doing important work.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
much
you.
so.
It's such an honor to be here with you. Pam, Val, Jan, Karen, thank you so much. This has
Thank
been
you.
very exciting for me.
I'm
Absolutely.
so inspired. I mean, really, thank you so much. Your art has so much depth to it.
Yeah,
Mm,
absolutely.
Mhm.
thank you.
And your words.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's been wonderful having you, and we really appreciate it. And we hope you have a wonderful evening. And thank you so much for joining us. And we hope everyone enjoyed this too. So until next time, we'll see everybody then.
Thank you.
Bye.